right, so our first question for today is looking for, we're looking at a couple of different indicators. And we're basically looking for, all of them to align up, to, correlate to the upside or correlate to the downside. All right, so we want the bar direction to be pointed up if we're looking for a long signal. We want the linear regression to be sloping up, and we want the DMI plus line to also be sloping up, and we want the trend direction of the amaChandelier to be in a positive trend. In other words, the close of the bar needs to be above the chandelier indicator. All right, and then after that, we have another condition to create here. All right, so I've already got a chart ready to go here, and well, actually almost ready to go. Let's finish putting BloodHound on the chart. So I'm going to go to Shark Indicators folder, go to BloodHound, and throw that on the chart. There we go. All right, before I get started, let me see if I can find an area on the chart that meets all of these requirements here. I think I found my first one. Yeah, let me mark it here. There. Oh, and let me make one other quick adjustment. Let's see. I think this chandelier indicator is painting the bars. Yes, let's uncheck that. Okay, there. All right, so I believe this bar here qualifies as a signal bar. So we have the, let's pull this off to the side. So we have the linear regression sloping up, so we can see that. That's the gold moving average there. We have the DMI line is sloping up. So let's put, a little arrow there. And we definitely have the close of the bar above the amaChandelier. So, yeah. And let's see if we can find a down example. I would assume that this would be a good down signal bar. So what I'm marking right now would be the signal bars. So we have the linear regression sloping down. We have the DMI minus is sloping up. And let's mark that. There you go. The DMI minus is sloping up. And we have the chandelier indicator, in a downtrend position. So, all right. So that is for the signal bar. So let's actually kind of clarify this. So that would be the signal bar. And then the next, so once we have a signal bar, the actual signal occurs if one of the next three bars, after a signal bar, if one of the next three bars closes higher than the high of the signal bar. So let's mark that. All right, so this bar definitely qualifies. And I assume, let's see, that bar qualifies as well. So it did, well, actually, no, it didn't close higher. It closed equal, so maybe not that bar. Here we go. So, so that would be a signal bar. And let's see, we have the DMI minus sloping up. And we do get a close lower then the signal bar is low. All right, so there. I'll mark this with a diamond as a failed signal. Okay, so we have a couple of spots on our chart to work with. Yeah, so with that, we can get started. All right, so let's get BloodHound open here. All right, so the button here at the top of our chart. All right, so let's see. To get started here, first thing I'm going to do is put a file name in. So let's put today's workshop file name in. All right, so we have a file name saved for today. So I'm going to start working on the logic tab now. All right, first thing we want is a bar direction, right? So, all right, let's create a new logic template. So there we go. All right, so let's see, what should we call this? There's some kind of a name there. All right, so let's go to our solver nodes, and I'll start us off with the bar direction there for number 1. All right, so bar direction solver, pretty straightforward. All right, an up bar will produce a long output, and a down bar will produce a short output. Let's see, with the last enhancement for the bar direction solver, it now works on doji range bars. See if I can find one. Yeah, here we go. Let's see. Oh, these icons are different for NinjaTrader release 16. Where's my arrow? There. No. There we go. That's the arrow. It's not so. Those arrowheads aren't so obvious anymore. There we go. All right. Yeah, so with the last update to the bar direction solver, if you have I believe this is called a shooting star doji, type of doji, right? Where it closes at the top, it closes at where the bar closes at the high, that is now is considered a long bar there. So now if you want to get rid of these doji bars as having a bar direction, we can simply, there we go, adjust the minimum bar size here. So if I set the minimum bar size, body size, right, bar size or body size to 1 tick, this means the body has to be at least a 1 tick sized body. Right, so dojis clearly don't have any body, so now it's not considered as having a bar direction here. But we can see the one right next to it, that body's at least 1 tick, and so that qualifies as a down bar there. So, all right, anyways, so I will adjust that back to 0 for the bar size there. Okay. All right, let's move on to the next one. So checking the slope of the linear regression, pretty straightforward. We're going to grab a slope solver there. Let's move it over here. Let's connect that up. And let's give this a name. Go, linear regression. And let's plug in the linear regression indicator. All right, so slow down, and let's see, there we go, LinReg, and I'm just using the default periods here for all these indicators. Okay, so let's just click OK. Pretty straightforward. So if the linear regression is sloping down, we'll get a short output. And when it's sloping up, we'll get a long output. All right, pretty straightforward. Now, the next one, we need to check the slope of the DM plus, or I'm assuming the DM minus for a short condition. All right, so here we go. So these indicators down here, the blue line or the red line is what we're checking. Okay, so let's grab a slope indicator. Now this one's going to be a little trickier here. Let's see here. Let's change the name here. So this is going to be the DM plus, and we're looking for an up slope. All right. So let's go find the DM indicator, and it should be just down here. There we go. All right, let's add that down there. Again, I'm just using a period of 14 for all these indicators. So we're interested in the plus DI plot there. So let's select that, like so. Clarify the name. There we go. So it's the DM and the plus DI plot. All right. Now, we're only interested when the plus DI is sloping upward. So in this case, we want to adjust the evaluate so that we only see the long only outputs. Right? Just like so. So in other words, let's open this up here. Right? So if the DI plus is sloping down, yeah, we're not interested in that short there. So, and this will be apparent here in just a moment why we're doing this here. All right. So let's grab another slope solver for the DI minus plot here, right? So the red line there. Now, there's a reason why we're not using one solver for this, because we're looking for the red line to also be sloping up when we're looking for short signal bars. Right? And that's just because of the nature of how the DM indicator works, right? So if you're in a downtrend, right, the minus DI plot slopes upwards. It's sloping upwards for a downtrend, right? So this indicator basically plots the opposite direction of typical indicators. So therefore, we have to set up our slope solver different for the minus DI plot because it's sloping up for a down signal direction, right? So, okay, so let's plug in this next solver there, and all right, and let's plug in our DM indicator. There we go. And this time we want the minus DI plots. Let's select those. There. Now, right, so when the minus DI is sloping up, we actually are looking for a short situation, right? A short condition. So we need a short output from BloodHound. We need a short output. So what we're going to do is, instead of using the output in direction, we're going to set those to 0. We want to use the output against direction. So we'll turn that one on. So now we can see when the minus DI sloping up, now we're getting our short output from that solver. And so again, for this solver, we're only interested in the shorts there. Yeah, right, because so when the DI minus is, when it's sloping down, we don't want a long signal to be produced. So, all right, now these two guys are basically, right, it's taking two solvers to kind of act as one solver here because of the uniqueness of the DM indicator, right? It always slopes up, you know, regardless of whether it's a down direction or an up direction. So we're going to take both of those solvers and plug them into an OR node. So let's connect that in and do that. There. So now we can see if the DM is if the minus DI sloping up, we're now getting our short. And if the positive DI, the blue line sloping up, we're getting our long. There. And if both of the DIs are sloping down, then we're getting nothing because there's no trend direction. Yeah. Now, let's say, let me go back to one of our slope solvers here, right? So if when we're looking at the plus DI, if I had left the evaluate, so let me put it back to both, right? If I left it on both, then let's see here. Let's find a case that I'm looking for. Well, it doesn't look like I'm able to find the situation I'm looking for. So, all right, but I'll take a moment to explain it anyways. Oh, actually, no. Yeah, actually, I do have a good example here. Yeah, so like right here, we can see that the DI minus is sloping down, right? And the DI plus is sloping down. So neither one of the DIs is sloping up, but yet we're getting a short output, right? And so that's not valid. So we should only be getting an output if one of the DI plots is sloping up, right? So that's, yeah, actually that is another situation here. I didn't even think of this situation. But yeah, that's a good example there, right? There should be no output. So if I go back to my solver here, and if I make sure that this is long only, right? There we go, bingo. So we should, right? We should have no directional output, you know, like right there and right there. So that's why we needed to use set the evaluates here for both of these two slope solvers, right? All right, so let's see, let's get rid of that. All right, one last condition here to create. So we need to make sure that the close is either above or below the amaChandelier. All right, so let's move this up. So that's going to be a comparison solver here. Let's connect that in. All right, so let's see. So our first input, that'll be the closing price of the bar, right? Closing price of the bar. And then our second input, input B over here, that'll be the chandelier indicator. All right, so for input A, let's set that to price. And we can see the closing price is already set as the default. So now we just need to go down to our second input, and let's plug in the chandelier indicator. All right, so that's going to be underneath the lizard trader indicators. All right, so these are third-party indicators. And let's see, there we go, the chandelier stop. So let's add that. All right, again, I'm just going to use the default settings here. And we're going to use the stop plot, or the stop dot, the stop dot plot. All right, so both of those are selected for us already. There. Optionally, if we wanted to, we could use the trend, but we'll use that. All right, let's click OK. And let's take a look here. Yeah. So there we go. So as long as the close of the bar is above the chandelier line, we'll get a long output. And then as soon as the bar closes below it, we'll get a short output. Okay, so that's our fourth one. Now we can take everything, and so everything needs to line up together on the same bar. So we can now grab an AND node and start connecting everything up. All right, click that in, that one, like so. And let's take a look, see what we have. Okay. So seeing what we have now, we can make a couple of adjustments. So let's move our signal bar arrow over here. And this would, so this, let's see, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, this bar happens within 3. This bar closes above the high of the signal bar, right? So the arrows are marking the signal bars, and the dot is actually marking the signal. So, all right, and the signal occurs when the bar closes higher than the signal bar's high. So let's just draw that across. There we go. So we got a close above the high of the signal bar. Now, BloodHound can do this type of check only because we have a relatively short number of bars here in between, right? So normally, if you need to, take the high, or basically any kind of price of a bar, but typically what we get asked is, traders are wanting to typically either track the high of a bar, or they're wanting to track the low of the bar, and then look for something such as another bar or maybe another indicator to cross above the high of some kind of a signal bar, right? So normally, tracking the price of a bar, those are the jobs of indicators. So normally an indicator would be needed, to track a bar price based on some kind of a condition. But if there's a relatively short number of bars, that's allowed, between the signal bar and price, breaking, crossing above the signal bar's high or some indicator, as long as the number of bars is relatively short, then BloodHound can do that here, right? So let's see, if we go back to our rules here, so it says one of the next 3 bars after the signal bar, right? So we have a relatively short number of bars after the signal bar that we're looking, for a close higher than the high of the signal bar, right? So that's the key. The tracking the high of the signal bar is our key here. So, all right. So with that, let's start building this next condition here. All right, so we're going to need some room here, so I'm going to scroll out a little bit. There. Yeah, so to look for a bar closing higher than the signal bar, let's see, let's break this down. What are we doing here? All right, so we have our signal bar. All right, so what are we doing? So what we're doing is we're taking the current bar. So we're looking at the closing price of the current bar and comparing it one bar back, right? Comparing it one bar back to the signal bar. So that's going to be a comparison solver doing that. All right, so let's grab a comparison solver. There we go. Let's put that up. And let's connect that in there. So input A, that's going to be the close of the current bar, which is the current bar is a look back period of 1. Right? Now, whenever you have a period, you always have to start at with an index of number 1. Right, so period, there's no such thing as a 0 period, right? A 0 period means 0 bars, so therefore there would be no data, right? So, yeah, so a period always has a starting number of 1, whereas NinjaTrader's displacement, that has a starting point of 0 here, right? So that's the difference there between of a look back period versus a displacement, right? All right, so input B there. We're going to set this to price, and we're also comparing to the closing price, but this time we need it to be 1 bar back. So we're going to set our look back period to 2. So there we go, and we're interested in just the single value there. So we'll leave that alone. And that's it. That's all we had to do, right? Now this, so we can see that the close here actually closed lower than our signal bar, than the previous bar. So, yeah, so that didn't qualify there. Right. And so basically, what this solver is going to do is, as long as the next close is higher and higher and higher, it's going to give us a long output here. Right. Now, what we need to do is we need to qualify this with the signal bar. So in other words, we need to take the signal from the signal bar and extend it forward 1 bar onto the next one. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to use a look back node, and we want to use a displacement this time. And so, yeah, so we actually want a displacement of 1 because we're taking the signal bar's signal and displacing it forward in time by 1 bar. So that's why we're using the look back here. So let's rename this here because we're using a displacement of 1. So let's make note of that. Okay, so now if we take, let's pull that out there. All right, so if we take our signal, and let's take this AND node and let's give this a name here. Right, so there we go. So what's coming out of this AND node is the signal bar, right? Not the trade signal, but the signal bar. There, okay, so now if we take a look at this, right, look back node, so now, right, the signal from our signal bar is shifted forward 1 bar onto the next bar to see if we did get that close higher than the signal bar, right? So again, So we're looking for this condition here, right? Well, actually this entire one. So yeah. And now we also need to couple it with the comparison solver, right? Because the comparison solver is making sure that the close of this next bar closed higher. So we need to couple in this condition. So let's grab an AND node. Let's take a look at that. And now plug in that look back. And there we go. So now everything gets filtered out, right? So there is no qualified trade signal yet, right? There's no qualified signal yet. So, all right, let's yeah, let me take a moment here to give this a name here. So all right, so we're taking a look at the close of taking a look at the close of 1 to the close of basically bar 2, or the close of 1 bar back here. There. Okay, so this is basically, let's see. So this is basically, actually, let me change the name here. So this is actually the first bar being checked, right? So the first bar after the signal bar being checked. There. Okay, so we're going to take this, basically this logic, and just repeat it again. So, yeah, so let me take a shortcut here. I'm going to go over to our solvers tab and take this comparison solver, right, that's comparing our 2 closing prices. And I'm going to make a copy of it. And so now we're going to adjust our look back here. Right, adjust that to 3. So let's take a look at the chart first here. Okay, so we know this bar here didn't qualify, right? So we're now going to check the second bar. We're going to check the second bar here. Right, so did this close higher, right, than our signal bar? So this bar is now 2 bars forward, right? So we had to increment our look back period by 1, right? So remember, look back periods start at 1. So we had to, since this is the second bar, we had to add 2 to 1, and that gave us 3. And I'm sorry, hold on. Input A, sorry, this might be a little confusing here. Input A is actually the current bar here, right? Input A is our second bar, but we're comparing that close looking back 2 bars, right? So our signal bar is now look back period number 3, right? So remember, input B is our signal bar. Input A is always going to be the current bar. So input A is always going to have a look back period of 1, but as bars build and time goes by, right, what are we doing? We're looking back an extra bar as each bar, as each new bar, is produced. We're having to look back 1 additional bar to find the signal bar's closing price. Right. So, yeah. So input A is still the current bar, and then input B has to look back, 1 additional bar to find the signal bar's closing price. There. All right. So let's go back to our logic board. We'll go to our solvers, existing nodes, and there is the new comparison solver there. All right, so we're going to take that and we're going to grab another look back node down here, and we're going to set the displacement to 2. Like so. Right, and why are we doing that? Well, let's take a look at it. Right, so what do we do? So we took the signal from the signal bar and now displaced it onto the next bar, right? Onto the current bar. Right. So that's what our displacement's doing. And then if we take a look at this comparison solver, right, is the close above or below our signal bar's close, right? Or basically the bar that's 2 bars back. Well, we can see the close is definitely 1 tick below it. So it's giving us a short. Yeah. To be expected. And so now we need to grab another AND node. And there we go. Connect everything up. And there we go. And so again, right, this bar didn't close higher than our signal bar. So again, right, no signal, as to be expected. So let's take a step forward to the next bar. All right, so now we expect to see a signal here. Right? So we're basically gonna, repeat this logic again for the third bar after the signal bar. Okay, so let's go to our solvers, and again, let's copy our comparison solver, and let's adjust that name. And then we know we need to adjust the look back period. All right, so let's go to the logic tab now, go to our solvers, go to existing nodes, and there is that new solver at the bottom of the list that we just made. Put that down here. Now, let's take a look at it. And yes, on this bar, we actually have a long output, right? Because this close is higher than the close of 3 bars back. So, all right, and so now let's grab another look back node. All right, this time our displacement is 3. 3, there we go. And let's connect in the signal bar into the look back node. All right, let's take a look at that. Yeah, so there we go. So the signal bar has been displaced forward 3 bars. All right, and let's grab another AND node. Move that down here. And there is our signal for that. All right, the next thing to do is connect all 3 possibilities here into an OR node. Right, so we have 3 possible bars that could give us a signal. Like so. There. All right. And here, let's name these AND nodes here. All right, so with that, let's take a look, see what we have. All right, so yeah, looking at these shorts here, Yeah, interesting. So we can see all 3 bars after the signal bar generated a signal, right? And also what we have, yeah, we actually have multiple signal bars here. Yeah, we do have multiple signal bars. So we've got this long continuous stream of signals here. So let's take some steps here to kind of clean it up, maybe. So let's see what we can do here. All right, so let's zoom out a little bit. So let's take a look at our signal bars here, right? There. So I've got the AND node connected into the result node, so we can see the signal bars here. So yeah, so there we go. So I've got all the signal bars marked there. Yep. So, all right. So the first thing that we can do is we can simply add a signal blocker to the OR node. So, all right. And well, actually, no. Yeah, that's good here. That's right. We do actually have some clarification here. So, yeah, so if we do have continuous signal bars being produced, we're actually going to ignore them until we actually get a signal out of a signal bar. So yeah, so instead of let's see here. Yeah, so I'm going to get rid of that signal bar here, and let's see what I can do. So let's scoot this back. So we need to clean up the signal bar signals, right? So let's grab a signal blocker and let's connect it there. Yeah, let's disconnect all of these here. There. Let's get that out of the way for now. There we go. And all right, so yeah, all right. So let's focus on our signal blocker here. So let's see. The most we would need to block for would be 3 bars there. Yeah. Hold on. Yeah, let me take a look at the signal bars again. Actually, no, I think the most we need to block for is only 2 bars. Yeah. Let me see if I can find an example on the chart of 4 signal bars in a row. Let's see if that actually ever happens. Here we go. Perfect. Look at that. And all right. So we get first signal bar, and then we can wait 1, 2, 3 bars afterwards, and then look for, and if there were no signals, then look for another one. But clearly, I guess the way the signal bars are working, yeah, you're definitely going to get a signal after a signal bar. So, yeah, but in any case, the most we're going to need to block, these signal bars, I think, is for 2. All right, so with that signal blocker, and yeah, let me take a look at the signal bars again. So I'm just kind of looking for some odd situations with these signal bars here. Well, actually, I'm more looking for just the behaviors of these signal bars. All right, so with the signal blocker, what I think we need to do is, let's see here. I don't have any real practical examples, so maybe this might be overthinking it, but let's just take a look over here, for example. So we have a signal bar, and then we basically, there's no signal. So, the point of the signal blocker is to eliminate these continuous signal bars, as we have here, right? We're trying to eliminate these continuous signal bars here. So in this example, right, I'd want to block these two signal bars. But if we go back here, if the signal bar, when the signal bar disappears, right, when there is no signal, then I don't need the signal blocker to keep blocking. Yeah, I guess this would be my example here. So we have the signal bar, but no signal, and then we do have a signal, but I wouldn't want to keep blocking this signal bar, I don't think. Yeah, I'm not sure if this, I guess I don't quite know enough about this, about how all these signal bars are working here. So I'm just kind of making an assumption here that I want to take this reset, and on one of these resets, I want to take the input no signal and set that to true, I believe. Yeah. So I'm gonna leave the input opposite signal to true and set the input no signal to be true. So in other words, so what that's doing is if we get a signal bar, I guess let me see if I can find a better example. I'm just looking at all of these here. So if we get a signal bar, it seems like if we get a signal bar and then the signal bar disappears, basically, no, that would have qualified it. Yeah. So let's see here. So we have a signal bar, and then this bar actually qualifies as the signal because it closed higher than our signal bar. Yeah, so, all right. I guess, so what I'm noticing is that after our signal bars, we never get a signal bar and then no signal bar and then a signal bar on the second one after. Yeah. I'm noticing that there always seems to be a two bar gap between signal bars. That's what I'm noticing so far. Oh, no, here we go. So here's an example. Signal bar, no signal bar, and then another signal bar. But this one also, so let's mark this. So we have a signal bar, and then we do actually get a signal. Yeah, and so you might want to allow the next signal bar through. Yeah. All right. So, so going back to the signal bar, I'm actually not going to use this input. No, I'm sorry. I am going to keep this input no signal. Yeah, because of this example here. So again, I'm just having to make some assumptions. So basically this absence of a signal allows this second signal bar to get through. All right. So here, let me just kind of show you this. Pay attention to our second signal bar there. All right. So if I take the input no signal, set that to false, that would eliminate that second signal bar there. So I'm not sure if that's what's wanted, so I'm just gonna enable that second signal bar there, like so. All right, so with that, let's take a look at what we have afterwards. So let's move all this back and connect everything up. Yeah, let's see, interesting. So we have a signal bar and a signal on the same bar. And let's see. And we have another signal. Right, yeah, so all three bars after the signal bar qualify as signals. Yeah, so you know what we probably do need to put another signal blocker after the signals here. Yeah, so let's put that in there. And we only need to block for two signals there, I believe. Yeah. There. All right, let's take a look. All right, yeah, so we have a signal bar, but no signals afterwards. Okay, so yeah, there's our first signal bar, and then we get the first signal. The other two signals are blocked. Yeah, to kind of clean things up. Cool. Yeah, well, I don't have enough information here to know how to handle this kind of situation. So, but we do have the first signal bar, and then we get a signal. So let's mark that. There we go. So there's the signal. So then we're blocking signals for the next two, and then we get another, we get another signal there. So let's see. Yeah, so that's probably the next. Well, actually, let's take a look here. So I'm looking back here at the signal blocker for the signal bars. And yeah, so just double checking that, yeah, this would be the next signal bar. Oops. Let's see, let's grab this. There we go. There we go. Yeah, so our signal bar, and then the signal bars are blocked, and then the signal bar gets through again. Oh, wait, actually. No. Probably need to change the blocking for 3 bars. Yeah. So the signal bar is being blocked for 3 bars because the next 3 bars, right, is where we look. We look at the next 3 bars to find a signal after the signal bar. Yeah. All right. So that becomes our signal bar. And there. All right. And no signals happen after that signal bar. Okay. Let's take a look here. There. All right. So that's cleaned up. So I guess that's how that logic would work. Yeah. All right. Well, with that, I think I've kind of gone as far as I can go with this. So let me take a look at the question board here. Let's see here. So Dean is asking, could we test it for a position exiting? Test it for a position exiting. I'm not sure what that means, Dean. I didn't see any exit signals given in your email. So, oh, I'm sorry, existing. Yes, thank you. Could we, oh, okay, yeah. Can we test it for an existing position? No, NinjaTrader does not allow that. So BloodHound, so the way NinjaTrader works, and this is probably true of, all charting platforms, that I'm aware of, where basically trade positions occur from strategies. All right, trade positions occur inside of strategies. However, right, and so indicators can be fed into strategies, right? So you can take indicator data and you can feed it into a strategy. That should be pretty obvious as to why, right? Because strategies are all based on various indicator conditions. However, you can't go the other way. So strategy information, in other words, order information about your position or orders, right? So order, status, any kind of order data cannot go back to an indicator. So indicators indicators are not allowed to be aware of any order information. So what that means is that if you have a position open, an indicator is not allowed to know that information. So you can't take strategy information and feed it back into an indicator. So so in other words, your BloodHound logic can never be aware of a position being open or not, right? So that's why that's why with Raven and Blackbird, right? So if we go into our strategies here, so with Blackbird and Raven, there is built-in logic so that only one position, or I should say there's a setting that makes sure that only one position can be opened at a time. So that way your Raven or Blackbird isn't constantly opening up more and more and more positions. Right? So that kind of logic is already built into Blackbird and Raven. Since we can't build that into BloodHound, yeah. All right, so hopefully that made sense. I think Dean's point is it would really be kind of cool if our signal blocker could be aware of a position being closed out, so that way, looking back here, looking at this area here, right? If we look at the raw signal bars, right? Yeah, we get a lot of signal bars. So it'd be kind of cool if the signal blocker could be aware of when a position is open, and that way the signal blocker could be reset as soon as a position is closed, then reset the signal blocker and allow the next signal bar to get through. But that is not possible. So Joe wants to block signals. So for example, Joe would like to block short signals if the low of the bar is touching the Donchian channel, the lower Donchian channel. So Joe's asking, is inverting a simple logic a good way to do this? Let's see. Yeah, in that particular case, yes, that would. So let's take a look here. All right, yeah, let's take a look. So let's get the Donchian indicator on this chart here. All right, so let's minimize that. Here. All right, so I've scaled back the other indicators so I can leave them on the chart. And so let's go add the Donchian channel. I'll make note of this here after I answer the question, but you'll notice I have 2 Donchian channel indicators here. Yeah, so we found out an interesting limitation here from NinjaTrader. So that's why I have 2 Donchian channels, but I'll explain this here in just a moment. Okay, so let's grab the Donchian channel and let's add that to my list of indicators. All right. All right, so we want to make sure that we block short signals if the low is touching the low of the Donchian channel. So let's just kind of mark. Oh, actually, hold on. Let me get rid of all the other drawings first. There we go. All right, so we want to block short signals, block shorts, block shorts. And let's see. And up here, I assume that we want to block longs and block longs. Yeah, block longs, block longs, block longs. Yeah, block longs, and block longs. Right, so in other words, if the bar, I think the point that the question's getting to is that if the bar is touching one of the Donchian channels, you want to block signals in that direction there. Yeah, so I think basically, yeah, the way we're going to do this is invert a comparison solver. So yeah, Joe, you're definitely, yeah, looking in the right direction. Yeah, so let's take a look at this logic here. And actually, yeah, cool. So I've actually got, I could take the existing signal system here. So we can see we'll block this long signal because, right, the bar is touching the upper Donchian channel. And let's see, yeah, let's block that one. So we definitely have a lot of longs today that we can block, just for examples. And let's see here. All right, yeah, here's a couple of shorts as well. Let's see, not quite. Okay. And there we go. One more. Okay. I think that's good enough. Okay, so there we go. I've got a long and a short all in the same area of my chart there. We'll use this area. Okay, so let's get BloodHound up here. Let's grab this. Okay. All right, so I'm going to make a copy of these signals here, so I have something to work with. Cool. And, let's see. Actually, I'm going to modify this, get rid of this extra signal blocker. And yeah, so there we go. So now I've got a lot more. I've this generates a lot more signals here, so I've got a lot more examples of signals being blocked there. All right, cool. Yeah, so let's grab a comparison solver. Let's connect that in. Okay, so our OR node is representing our signal, right? Our system signals. There we go. Okay, and then this comparison solver is going to do the blocking, right? So let's see here. All right, so this solver will do the blocking when the bar touches the Donchian channel. So let's figure out what our inputs are going to be. Yeah, so our first input is going to be price. All right, so it's going to be the high of the bar, for blocking longs, or the low of the bar for blocking shorts. Right. So input A, let's set that to price. There we go. So for longs, we want to look at the high of the bar. For shorts, we want to look at the low of the bar. All right. And then input B, well, that's going to be our Donchian indicator. So let's plug that in. All right. So now there's our Donchian indicator. So let's take a look at the plots. Which plots are we interested? All right. So if the bar is touching the upper plot, then we're wanting to block long signals. If the bar is touching the lower plot, then we want to block short signals. Click OK. All right, and so we're interested in the A equals B, right? So the way the Donchian channel works is, right, the bar high, the Donchian channel is going to equal the bar high or the bar low, right? So let's set up our outputs correctly here. There. Okay, so right now we have an output of when we want to block signals. So if we want to allow them, then yes, then we simply just need to invert that output like so. Right? So let's analyze this. What is this? What are we looking at, right? Because BloodHound's output just looks chaotic. But but this is correct for a blocker. So in other words, if we have a solver connected in using an AND node, so here's the key: is we have to have an AND node. Right. So with this AND node, right, we can see we have a bunch of signals here. Right where my triangle is. So with this solver here, right, if there's no signal, so if one of our solvers has no signal, then that's what does the blocking when you use an AND node. So when you're using an AND node, basically all solvers have to have a signal on the same bar in order for a signal to get through the AND node. So if we connect this in, like so, and there we go. So now there we go. These signals were blocked because the bar is touching the Donchian channel. There. And we can see here the bar is not quite touching, right? And the bar is not quite touching. so the signal got through. Same here. This short, the bar is not quite touching. It's missing by a tick, so that signal got through. And let's see here. Yeah, remember back here, there we go. So we had marked this one as the signal's being blocked. Right, so let's take a look at our signals coming in. So, oh, yeah. Actually, yeah, we have quite a few there. So all these signals here were blocked. Yep. Let's take a look at the AND node again. There. There we go. It's all blocked. All right there, Joe. So there you go. Yep. So the key was inverting the output, for this comparison solver here. All right. So let me see if there's any other questions on this topic. Let's see. All right. No, it doesn't look like it. Okay. Yeah, so let me take a moment here to explain that new Donchian channel indicator that I've got. Let's close that out here. Yeah, I've got a good example here. So, all right, so I'm going to put the Donchian channel on this DM indicator here, right? Oops. All right, so let's grab a new Donchian channel. Let's add it down here. Let's see, our Donchian channel's on the second panel. There. So let's change our panel to panel 2. And then let's change our input series to the DM indicator. There. All right. So DM indicator. So now we have to pick which plot. So we can only do one at a time, apparently. So we'll do the DI plus plot there. All right, and click OK. And let's apply this. Now, if you look at our panel here, right? So we can kind of see that we have the DM indicator way down here because we can see the red and blue plots. And then the purple, that's the Donchian channel, is way up here, right? And so if we look at the price of our Donchian channel, right, it's around 1,500, right? So if we look, it's actually the same price as our instrument, right? So we can see our instrument, the RTY, is at around 1,500. And if we scale this down, and then there. Yeah, so now we can actually see that the prices of our Donchian channel, so the one that has the DM indicator fed into the Donchian channel, it now, right, matches the Donchian channel that's set to the price panel. So, right, so this is, a new limitation that NinjaTrader 8 has introduced. So, Yeah, this used to work fine in Ninja 7, but it doesn't work fine in Ninja 8. So we pointed this out to them, and NinjaTrader actually created a new Donchian channel indicator to solve this problem. Yeah, so let me pull that up here. All right, so I'm going to paste a link here in the chat window in case you guys are interested in taking a look. And let's pull this up here. All right. Yeah, so support Mike, kind of pointed out that we've got an issue. And then NinjaTrader here said not all indicators are programmed to use indicators as their input series. So, yeah, so there you go. There's, I guess, a big change in NinjaTrader 8. So they created a workaround here, so we can see they included or attached a Donchian channel input indicator there. So, all right. So let's see here. So let's take a look. I haven't taken a look at this indicator, so let's see how well this works here. So let's add that Donchian channel input indicator. And let's see, there it is, Donchian channel input indicator. And let's change the input series. There we go. Okay, so let's go grab the DM indicator. There, and let's, again, yeah, we'll just use the plus DI plot. And click OK. And let's put this on the second price panel for the DM indicator. And let's see here. Yeah, let me make the mean invisible. All right, and let's see. Make these plots a little thicker. There. Yeah, there we go. There. So there's our Donchian channel indicator set to the plus DI plot here. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, yeah. So Ronald is commenting that he's seen this problem with many other indicators for Ninja 8. Yeah. I'm sure there's probably several other indicators that have that problem too. Yeah. All right. Let's see here. Let's see. Joe's commenting that it looks like a suicide strategy. Yeah. Well, just keep in mind, guys, nothing we do in these workshops is a recommendation. These workshops are only for training of BloodHound, right? So nothing in these workshops is built to be a successful trading system. So, okay, guys, with that concludes our BloodHound workshop. So remember, tomorrow is the Blackbird workshop. So you guys are all welcome to join the Blackbird workshop and take a look. You don't have to be a Blackbird owner to join these workshops. So, yeah. All right, guys. So if I don't see you in tomorrow's workshop, then have a good weekend, and I hope to see you guys next week. All right. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.